Arsenal, a Small Knights podcast hosted by Lord Hood, Latisan-Sklay, and Zangrious.
Episode 78, recorded on May 11th, 2014. I am Zang.
And I am Latisan-Sklay. And welcome to the Button Mash Podcast, a podcast where the Button Mash team reunites to talk about Spiral Knights on the Arsenal
Hooray
podcast.
for Button Mash.
I can't button mash fast enough.
Yeah. So Glacies joins us this week, if that wasn't obvious. And so hi. Hi guys.
Hola.
Hello, Glacies. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Also, I apologize for the burlap sack we brought you in on. We didn't have anything better.
Alright. Well, let's talk about the origin of Button Mash real quick, in case anyone is confused. It originally started as youtube.com/ the Button Mash organization of, like, event planners and nerdy kinds of types of folks in the UK, of which our friend Maroka is a part. And then we kind of stole his name when we
Spiral Night
joined...
Shopping List Season 2. Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Somebody wins.
Somebody wins. Shifty eyes, shifty eyes. So, if you want to check out the original Button Mash, go to sklayly.com/arsenal. I'm just kidding. Go to youtube.com/Button Mash Empire, because that's where the original Button Mash is. But we hear of threats of being sued at some point, but that's not come to something yet of stealing the show.
Do you honestly
Stealing
think
name.
that they would sue us?
I know I would.
Who
I love you
knows?
guys so much.
If they sued
but-
us, that would be really, really, really sad. I'm sorry, that would be sad.
It would be fascinating. They'd make us defend our honor in the fields of Battle of Lockdown or something.
For what purpose? We
Against the
didn't
band
really
stick.
steal anything.
Funsies. We stole a name.
Oh, a name.
This is cease and desist.
Cease and desist.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, alright.
It's also Sunday, May 11th this week, which makes it Mother's Day, so happy
Yes.
Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Mom.
Keep being
I hope
awesome.
that everyone at least called or contacted their mother and told them that they loved them, because if you didn't, I will send Betty to your door and you will regret it.
Yeah, it's one of those, you forgot it was Mother's Day? Shame on you, sir. Shame.
Shame on you, sir. Betty will make friends with you now.
Betty will be your new
like,
mother.
It's like bizarre. I don't think
know.
anyone would want to cleave her as a mother, because no, that wouldn't work.
Or maybe it worked so well. Imagine all the pros. I mean, you never have to go to find your cleaver ever again. It'll always be there. And if all the kids ever picked on you, they'd have to face the wrath of a cleaver.
That
I
is
know.
true.
Exactly.
Alright. So let us power question our special guest today, shall we?
Yeah, in case you don't know about Glacies from the community and stuff like that, so, Glacies, what do you consider yourself an SK? Like, are you a PvP kind of person? Are you swordsman or costumer or forum goer? What areas do you find yourself in?
A lot recently, I do stay on the forums a bit, but I really do enjoy arcade. Not the missions, arcade. I just love going into arcade with random people, random weapons, and just going through it.
That's
Yeah.
good. I can attest to
trying
this.
Trying to bring that back is definitely a positive.
It's really my favorite part of Spiral Nights. It's just to go into the arcade, team up with random people you don't even know, and just go from there. It's
He's a much more social person than I must say. Of sorts.
Wouldn't that require either jumping into a random party or beginning another party for random people to jump onto? The
Yeah.
risk behind that truly is there, but it also is a good idea to allow the expansion of friends.
You're not obligated to rev people, Zang.
That is true. Then again, I don't even have any sparks of life anymore, so joke's on
He's too
you
generous
guys.
giving them away.
Yeah, actually, the last few ones I did use were given away, and to be honest, I'm happy that I don't have anymore. I just find it a lot easier to burn 50 extra energy just to get back up, because that way I don't have to rely on things that just drop 1 out of 50 times.
Why would you use 50 energy, though? Why not go to Haven and buy them for, like, 200 energy for 10.
Because I'm weird like that. Don't question me. I have there's a method to my madness.
Don't judge me. I like spending money. I'm trying to help the economy, okay?
There's a method to my madness. It's purposefully because that way, if people can't beg me to bring them back up, they have to rely on their own skills. It's not that I don't like not working with people. It's just the fact that it makes it so people can't just scream in the little chat box, rev me, rev me, rev me, because I don't want to use my own sparks of life.
I've seen that too many, especially one person lying saying they didn't have any sparks and
Complete
used
nutter
the yeah.
Complete and utter bull. I'm sorry, but you
It's
have
horrible.
to have some form of revival. You can revive yourself. Just pick yourself up.
Was
'Cause
there
I
a
know
beep
I'm not
there?
going.
Do I need to mark down that as a beep? I was paying half attention. Okay,
If you want to, you can.
cool. Let's get a beep in there.
All
If
right.
my show
So-
notes were right.
Other than the arcade, then, what is your favorite part about Spiral Knights?
Or including the arcade.
Or well, if he wants to say, well, he already said he's an arcade guy. I would think that if there's something else, but honestly, that's fine.
Ironically, my favorite part really about Spiral Knights, one, it's something that actually, I've said this a lot of times to a lot of people I know, but it reminds me of something that I hope to one day do in the future, which is why I've always looked up to Nick so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I've loved the design of it. It's really, it reminds me a lot of when I was younger playing the old games, a lot like how, I want to say how even Nick designed it. It was really based around his childhood games.
Mm-hmm.
And it really it captures a lot more than any other game does, really.
Yeah.
With that Zelda-esque dungeon generation.
Yeah. To be honest, that's kind of one of the things that drew me to it. It's a simple little game, but it's got some depth to it that you wouldn't expect until you start actually playing it.
I like
really
pressing the talk button in early missions and getting free sparks of life. That's fun.
What, pressing the what? Oh, the early missions where they're just like, oh, hey, you learned how to talk. Here, have 5 sparks of life that people would probably kill in the higher levels to have.
Yep.
Where they're scrounging for them, praying that they drop out of prize boxes, just at least to get one.
Well, when the missions came out, everyone who was Vanguard got like 80 or so, I think. I think it's 80? That's how many you would have
think it
gotten in
was-
all the missions.
It
It was
might
over
have been
100, I thought.
If it was 100, that I must have missed out because I didn't get that many.
Everyone gets all the sparks of life they would have gotten from their mission credit. Except Zangrious. We don't like him.
Yeah, that's fine, honestly. Well, it's just the fact that I either didn't get them or I burned through them way too fast.
I blame Tortodrome for that. I had
Oh,
like
please don't
210
bring up the Tortodrome
sparks,
with
and now I'm
me.
down to 60.
Please don't bring up the Tortodrome with me.
Brimstone Assault
those-
was actually what did that for me, because I was really bad at that mission.
Those
actually
things
was
killed
horrible
my
at
spark of
first.
life count. Those things killed my spark of life count to a T.
Okay. Well, lastly, Glacies, if you have to choose, this is a very important question. Volcanic Pepper Box, Cautery Sword, or Heavy Deconstructor?
Can I pick 1 million?
Yes, pick 1 million.
The win million.
I think that's the second win million, appeal we've gotten to that question.
Oh, we
I
need to
love
add
win
win million to that then.
But win million is, actually half viable, except...
It's a gunblade that makes monsters dodge.
And guard.
and not die. Plus,
And
it is
not
at the
die.
very bottom of Latisan's tier list for swords.
I probably have to
Yeah.
say Heavy Deconstructor, though.
Yeah? Okay.
Heavy Deconstructor's pretty fun.
The wind-up bomb. Where in absolute truth, I would not rely on something that utilizes a key like that to turn, because someone could stop the key and prevent the bomb from exploding. And then
Or-
what do you do?
Poor,
You throw it
poor
out the core and hopefully it opens up.
You pray that the core's chemical compound is capable of causing the bomb to explode, because otherwise the swarm is going to eat you.
The swarm.
Well,
The swarm.
poor Win Million sitting there at rank 19 of 19 5-star swords in the game because it's not even 5-star.
No.
Wah, wah, wah.
When will we get our Winfinity?
I really wish that they would have done, instead of the Obsidian Blade, turn it into like an Obsidian Wing for the 1 million. Pure Shadow Weapon with poison. Instead
But
of
they would have
fucking-
had to. But they would have had to make it. They would have had to make the. How would you make their that charge attack look like? The spiky tentacles.
Well, it's the same thing with Obsidian Carbine. It'd probably just go through the floor.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, Obsidian Carbine just uses bullets and then bam, it's just in the ground.
that's true.
Trying to think, would it be better or worse than like a normal 3-swinging Acheron-esque kind of weapon against gremlins? Because obviously it's okay against slimes because you can keep your distance.
Yeah. Well,
I
if
don't
you
know.
make it, the problem is making it pure shadow. I think if they made a pure shadow 1 million transformation, I don't think it'd be really effective.
The speculation.
The speculation indeed. By the way, we have a lockbox to open.
We do, and we should probably open it very quickly and start getting going.
Okay,
'cause-
I opened the lockbox the last time, so it's your turn to open the lockbox.
All right. Squeaky. And inside, finally dry, actually, I put this in here this morning, is How to Make Boom. Bomber
How
guide.
to make boom.
How to make boom, boom.
Yeah, this thing has been...
We're not teaching people how to change diapers here, Glacies. That's not what we do. There are no spiral babies in this game. Not yet, anyway.
But
What the hell is that?
where do all the monsters use the bathroom then?
And
Where does
so
it
we
all go?
We don't ask that question because we don't need to know the answer to that question.
Speaking of questions that don't need answers to, we also have actually a few transmutations, which some people like a whole lot, and some people they get put off, but we have them anyways. So
Yes,
screw you guys. Just
but
kidding.
we're not going home.
Not you, the listeners.
Oh.
I just insulted our listeners. Did you hear that?
Yes,
How
I
dare you.
did.
That's my job.
Since when is that your job?
Since about, I want to say, maybe 20, 30 minutes ago? Somewhere around
That
there.
doesn't make it your job.
Yeah.
Fight,
Well,
fight.
it's
fight.
under my name on the podcast somewhere.
Since when is it? No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It was
No, it's
just added-
not.
Hang on a
It's
second.
not.
There's the show notes.
Don't you dare add anything to the show notes. No. No. I'm watching the show notes like a hawk. Let's just go
Alrighty.
on to the mission
Well,
report.
while they try and figure out who's actually in
wait a
charge
minute,
of being a jerk on this show, let's do mission report. Zang, how was your week?
So, Latisan, how was your week?
Bud, how was your week? Mission report goes something like this. Well, we did things this week, and so we're going to talk about it. Actually, Zang, did you do things this week? You did do things this week, didn't you?
I did do things with
I watched a
this.
video of you doing things this week.
I did do things this week. I totally screwed up doing things this week, but I did do things.
Did that cost you a spark at the end of the day?
No, it costed me 50 energy at the end of the day.
Okay, got it. All right.
And an emergency revive, but those don't cost anything. So, me, Sky Scythe, Green Link, and
Mr. Button Mash himself.
Mr. Button, yeah, Maroka. They invited me to go fight against Margro, and I had forgotten that Margro likes to spawn a lot of friends. I forgot that he likes to spawn 20 plus zombies and black cats. So essentially, I was happy that I remembered that I happened to bring my Argent Peacemaker in with me, because otherwise I think I probably would have done a lot worse than I did.
What's an Argent Peacemaker? You mean the cactus gun?
The Holy Hand Cannon, yes.
The cactus gun.
Yes, the Holy Hand Cannon.
Controlled shooting. Pew.
Holy cactus
Pew.
gun. How about that?
Pew.
No, the Holy Hand Cannon.
After Plants vs. after Knights vs. Zombies.
I was calling it the Holy Hand Cannon before Plants vs. Zombies.
Well, I'm calling it the Cactus Gun after Plants vs.
Good
Zombies. So.
But yeah, I was essentially just shooting at Margrel when the shield was down, and I know I was doing barely any damage because Margrel's health bar barely moved when my bullets hit him.
Well,
Also, I want to apologize to Maroka and Green Link, and Sky Scythe because I know I was essentially doing absolutely nothing. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
You were drawing aggro. Everyone needs a tank.
I was not drawing aggro. Half the zombies didn't even notice when I ran by them.
They were distracted by the...
Margrel, the only thing I essentially did was absorb bullets. The little bullets that apparently flew around, which I forgot apparently happened as well.
Those are really annoying.
I don't understand why you need those, considering the fact that Margrel is too much of a pain anyway. It's just like, hey, you know how difficult this fight is? Well, we're going to throw 10 times more difficulty at you because bullet hell.
Somehow I get the impression that in that fight, Green Link probably did the most with his ASI hammer.
I have no idea. I think I saw somebody running around with one of the hammers, but at the same time, I was too busy just trying to take pot shots.
Pot shots are good.
Yeah, in that case, for me, pot shots are the only thing I could have done.
I really wish you could fight Margrel without the book. Margrel's such a fun fight.
Yeah.
I don't even care about not getting anything, it's just a fun fight.
Yeah. I just wouldn't want to do that fight by myself, because God knows I probably wouldn't last long enough.
Well, Margrel would have so little health. You just have to try and burst it down. Her.
That is
him?
True.
Her?
Him.
I think it's her, right?
No, I think it's him.
It's never actually
specified.
Yeah, I had to go to the wiki in order to inform this because everyone's saying him, but it's never actually specified if Margrel's actually a guy or a girl. I've always thought that Margrel would be a girl, but
for some odd reason, I see it being more of a male, considering the fact that I think they reference it as a male in the written thing when they reference. I think it's on the Black Cat Cow when they reference Margrel.
No, it doesn't say he or anything. It just says Margrel's the one who opened the Book of Grey Feathers and caused the cataclysm. It says nothing about him or her.
Yeah, I still think it would probably be a male character.
I would think female,
who's to say? Who's to say? Spiral Nest doesn't like to reveal genders. Now does it?
Do something like what Valve does with the Pyro, just do he and or she.
Technically, they already did figure out what the Pyro was. The Pyro, that there was already speculation and there was already research done.
Well, there was game theorists that think they found an answer as much as they could ever find an answer.
Well, it's a logical answer when you think about it.
But that doesn't mean squat in anything.
That is true, but at the same time, I feel like it's at least a logical answer to follow. But that's just speculation.
Or anything, the Pyro could be an alien. In fact, it could be a rock.
Moving on. People thought it was a robot for a while before Man vs. Machine came out, and they saw the Easter eggs for robots. They're like, Pyro's a robot. But anyways, the derails.
Yes. Sorry. The derails. All of the derails.
I'm gonna blanket statement cheat and blanket statement Glacies week and say he was on the testing server, but aside from that, to dodge spoilers and all that, what else have you been up to, Glacies?
Well, I'm happy to say I finally got my... Didn't actually give me the book for free.
Oh, wow.
But I got sick and tired of it because 430 black cats is kind of a lot. Too much.
Yeah.
Sorry, giving me a headache that this event, I just kept on, every single black cat I killed, kept on dropping an ability booster. I kept on getting speed up, attack up, everything. It didn't even drop a material. It was horrible.
Well, here's my question. When we went up against Margrel, I'm guessing they changed it so that the person who has the book gets the black cat.
Yep.
Cow. Okay. Because I got a bunch of pages that I'm not going to use.
Yep, you get 6 pages if you are in the party for killing Morgul. You get the book if you were the original owner of the... Or you get the cowl if you're the original owner of the book.
Which is why I'm happy I got the cowl early on, because otherwise I think I'd still be digging around for that.
I hate
freaking cowl.
I hate
cowl
this, man.
is such a... Yeah, people were excited to get it back, but at the same time, I kind of don't get why. Because once you get the Black Cat cowl, it's kind of a
Redundant.
unless you're really trying to get the other forms of cowl, I really don't think it's necessary.
It really is, and I actually just realized that the reason why the book is a drop is that people would just save up for the book itself. If it was being able to be purchased, and they would just go for the Black Hat cowl and nothing else.
Yep.
Because damage bonus high, everything and movement speed increased low is a lot better than attack speed increase for whatever variant low and damage bonus low.
Yep.
Sacred
But
Boomkin
each
has
has her own.
Sacred Boomkin has an interesting question. Why don't the knights in the mansion help fight Margrel? They just
Because they're
disappear.
chickens.
Do you realize how well they fight in the Clockworks?
I understand. I don't
Spiral
want them
Knight-
to be fighting. Just
Spiral HQ soldiers can't fight for anything.
this is why we don't have like co-op versus AI PvP games. Just so you guys are aware.
Because to be honest, we would just absolutely decimate the AI, because the AI for the knights is about as intelligent as the phantoms. And
Phantoms
the
can
phantom
get behind you if you're not paying attention, but usually
They're less than the phantoms. It's really sad, to be honest.
not. Anyways, I
Yep.
did the biggest thing, I think for me, the most memorable thing. I was trying some like strange and random, goofy, fun loadouts in Lockdown, because who takes Lockdown seriously anymore? So, I think I'm gonna make a few videos of that and maybe put out a little mini series and just show off me attempting to use these silly loadouts, because some of them are kind of fun.
Breaking the meta.
Pretty
Yay.
much. But there's not much meta to break.
That is
It's just run around and use catalyzers and cold snaps and static flashes and shard bombs and stuff like that in Lockdown, and laugh at the Skulver clones with Polaris, because apparently that's still a thing. I thought it was kind of
Skulver
gone,
clones
the
with
Polaris
Polaris.
spam in random teams. Like, I don't see Polaris much anymore.
No,
but I got
that's
into one
not
group,
happening.
and there was like 3 or 4 people, and one guy would just like stop using Polaris, and he was like getting really mad, and everyone was using Polaris. Still
Yeah.
same good old Lockdown.
Unfortunately, it's probably never going to go away ever. Just because so long as it's still a viable thing, it's probably never going to go away.
I don't even think it's viable. I think it's just more
Obnoxious.
or less. Yeah, that's kind of more the word for it, because the damage isn't actually that good. It's just the chance of shock along with the pushback.
Not to mention, once they're shocked, you can essentially just run up to them and kind of beat the crap out of them with a faster weapon.
I don't know why it's not charge only. Make it something like bombs or something.
Yeah.
Well, it only takes 3 or 4 shots to break a Guardian Shield with the expanded bullet, so that's one reason to use it.
Mm-hmm.
The status cuts through the resistance, too, so it brings down the shield faster.
Curse use status. Actually, the Guardian Shield is immune to weak status. I think it is.
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about moderate, but it's immune to weak.
Yeah, well, that is true, because you can stand in a haze bomb.
Yeah.
Yep.
Until the guy gets smart and starts placing pro strats, place your bomb right next to that Guardian with his shield up, standing in your bomb, because the explosion of the bomb will damage the shield.
Yes.
That is if you're not stuck in the Vincent Tinks during the haze bomb.
I guess that's true. We'll keep
But-
placing bombs around him.
Yeah, it's eventually a time matter. It's that either you're going to die before one of his allies comes by, or that the Guardian's going to eventually try to kill you because it's stuck.
Yeah.
Because once you're in that haze bomb with the shield, you're pretty much screwed.
Unless you get your dash.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
I
other
suck
thing. Just cover the area around him so that he can't dash, and then just lock him down until your teammates show up.
Well, isn't that why you'd use like a shock haze bomb? Because if they try to dash through it, there's a good chance that they're probably just going to get frozen up by the
No,
shock.
they can be standing in the dead center of a voltaic tempest and jump out, and they'll make it out. Usually,
I suck at
most,
dashing.
like 9 times out of 10, they'll make it out.
Yeah.
The dash just covers the radius of the bomb. Just jump towards the closest outside edge. Anyways, we did do these like post-podcast get-together kind of thing that we had last week. I put a video out on that. Glacies was there, Dref Builder was there. Who else was there? Green, HRPB, Snakes. We had a few people, Third or Wing. I'm forgetting people, Sky. But maybe that's not all of them. I'm sorry if I didn't name you, but you're also in the description of the video, so yay. And we might try to make that a more regular thing. I have a place where we can kind of hang out now, like
We
a
should do
voice over
shadow
IP
runs.
program. Pardon?
I propose that Len buys us like 5 keys, all by himself.
For Shadow
and we get
Keys?
free runs. Yes, shadow keys.
I should talk to Sky Scythe, because he actually has the resources for stuff like that. He gives out 1 run a week, it looks like, to his guild, so...
I actually had a surprise when I went on a random arcade run. I got a free Shadow Lair run from people I didn't even know.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't as fun though because someone was saying that his shield kept on breaking because of lag. But I said no because of status.
No, it doesn't break because of lag. It breaks because you're stupid and you keep it up without running away. Part of the strategy is being able to maneuver around attacks.
Even with lag.
Even with lag.
Screen freezes are kind of tough, though. But anyways.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of a post-podcast get-together, those will be on Sundays in the afternoon. If you're in the U.S., it'll be whenever we finish the podcast, which ends up being about 3:30 or 4. So that would make it 12:30 or 1 if you're on the Pacific Coast. It would make it, let me do numbers in my head, 7:30 or 8 if you are in Great Britain or aligned with their time zone. Or add an extra hour to that if you are farther across in Europe. So if you want to hang out, come hang out, hop in game, see if we're online, and send us a message. We can get you to join. Anyways, that should be fun. We might shoot for another one of those, but this podcast is going to go long, I feel. So I think we should jump into it.
We might want to...
Whoa. The double voice. What's up?
Nothing. We might want to just push on if we can.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Overheard at Moorcroft Manor. From the helmet of someone who likes some creature that requires a horn to fight with or something like that.
The helmet is supposed to be resembling to a demon called
Too bad you can't replace that for the lock boxes.
No, that'd be kind
I
of...
wonder if you could.
No, for the prize boxes?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
break them open. They're essentially like paper.
But
It's
you
not
can
like
replace
actually
the sound
opening a
files.
box.
You'd
Like
have to
every
do it
time
really
you
quick,
hit it, you
though.
play like the last little stanza.
Well, no, it has 3 sounds that run. The setting down of the box, and there's 2 sounds that go over each other at the same time.
You're
One is the
talking about
transmutation
lock boxes
sound.
You open. I thought you were talking about the treasure boxes. My bad.
No.
No.
I mean, you reach inside it like Link does.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Ah,
number
oh well.
Except you don't hold the thing you get out of the box above your head for very long. It's just kind of like there, gone.
No. But the Zelda influence is definitely there.
Yep.
It's number 10.
We
found
had
it.
completely and literally no news from SK this week. The only thing that was there was Fan Art Friday. Nothing on Wednesday, nothing showed up on the forums. They won't even respond to my tweets and emails about Spiral Lights, our charity event. So they're on vacation this week or something, I don't know.
Maybe
or they're
just
busy.
with the testing server and everything.
Yeah, I guess that is the only news. Testing server opened back up. But
PvP
Cats.
testing. Don't use swords.
yeah, it's lockdown testing time, so go test lockdown with the guns. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, the other thing is that Cats end at the end of tomorrow, so I don't know when this episode will come out, but they end at Monday night here in the US, which means Tuesday early morning if you are farther along in the world to the east. So get your last cats in. I hit 100 pages and I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to use these for. Maybe I'll get my 3-star bombing cat hood and use it in lockdown, or not.
Why do you think I stopped collecting the pages? I stopped trying to collect them a long time ago because, to be honest, it just didn't seem necessary anymore.
It's not fun. It's horrible.
No. Yep.
I had too many pages that I was able to basically triple everything. I technically have enough to get everything, all 3 of the hoods. All 3 of the hoods 3 times over, and enough catfishes to not only craft all of them, but have like about 5 left over.
Just sell the things. They sell well.
Yeah, if you sold them on the auction house, more than likely you'd be making a huge profit.
I think it's what they sell for 10,000 last time. I haven't looked this.
I actually sold.
Well, when you think about it, wouldn't you still make a lot more? No, you buy them for 35,000.
Glacies, what is it running for?
I actually, when the event first started, it was 2,000 energy per.
Right. But as time went on, that's how it always is usually with the events start.
Yeah, I know. I was disappointed. I should have redeemed all my tokens and just...
Yep.
But I wanted my stupid cow. I'm so happy that someone gave it to me.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, I mean, I already have my BKC, so now it's just, if I got it, it would be free 500,000 crowns or so.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't be bad, but...
Actually, I thought the cow...
I wouldn't mind getting 500,000 crowns,
1
but
million.
then again, I probably would have dropped the price down quite a bit, considering I'm a generous guy.
I heard it was cheap as 500k and sells for as much as 1.2 mil. So.
I keep on... Well, then again, I'm looking at the book.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I guess the experience of fighting Margrel is included in the cost.
Yeah.
But
anyways, always fun.
That is the rest in peace. Very soon, it's on its dying breath. The 3rd semi-annual grind fest.
Yep.
Now, I actually got my biggest accomplishment from that was getting like 700 shining fire crystals out of that, which means that I have a total of 700 shining fire crystals, which is nice.
Hooray for shining fire crystals!
Yay!
I guess. Yeah.
Now my total is almost 10,000 on my glowing 3-star fire crystals because Gay tier 2. But anyways, how to make boom bomber guide. So we can just go through these. Let's talk about these points if they're worth talking about, or we can just move on. And should we do this just round robin, or just someone jump in and take each one?
Whatever ends up working, I guess.
Round robin makes sense.
Alright.
So I can start off, and then we can talk about these things, and then Zang, and then Glacies. How's that sound?
Yes,
that works.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty. Well, the first one's not actually a tip. It's a point, it looks like. This is damage bombing versus support bombing. What differs them? I mean, the division of the difference between damage bombing and support bombing doesn't mean you can't mix and match them, but what's the difference? Because there's two general
roles.
roles.
Mix and match them?
You can.
You can.
Sorry, the division of the two doesn't mean you can't. So, in other words,
okay.
it does mean you can.
To me, the difference between support bombing and like actual damage bombing is the fact that I think it really does depend on if you're running with a party or if you're running by yourself. That's a good aspect to cover, because if you're by yourself, you need some form of damage.
Yeah, don't
with the
support
bombs.
bomb if you're by yourself.
Yeah, if you support bomb by yourself, you're gonna be there for a while. But when you're with a group, you can run like the haze bombs and the
haze bombs and
just the haze bombs. Are the haze
well,
bombs?
that's the primary form of support.
Yeah.
Where you're going around and helping out your team by shocking up the cats and stunning the everythings and shocking stuff and freezing stuff and lighting things on fire.
It's kind of hard to support bomb if the thing you're going to use is the bab.
That's very anti-team generally.
Big Angry Bomb's the best bomb. Don't you dare talk bad about it.
I think another good support bomb might be the crystal bombs.
Yeah, the shard bombs can be, particularly the status ones.
The decay of
those very supportive, only just because The shard bombs are meant for chaining, and it's kind of hard to chain when you have people kind of shield bashing all them outside of the radius of the actual bombs.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then vortex bombs would probably round out your support bombing
Yeah.
loadout
Yeah.
where
So,
you're grouping up enemies.
Yeah. So in the difference between damage bombing and support bombing, it really does depend on your situation. Like if you have a couple of people with you, you don't really have to focus that much on damage bombing. You can be a support bomber and carry like a sidearm. But if you're either by yourself or you feel like your damage output is lower, then it's probably better to have some form of damaging explosive, because at least that way you can actually fight off enemies without having to rely on your team.
Well said. All right, moving on.
All right. Don't place bombs erratically. That should be a given. Please. The random pushing of monsters when teammates are around can be dangerous, particularly in the deepest tiers where the monster attacks can already be unpredictable. If you're playing a bomb wielder and you're doing this, please don't join my party, because I will kick you. I will kick you before
Story
you can
time.
say.
This
I will
actually
kick you before
happened
you
to
can
me.
Say, oops.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't
No,
mean
it's
to
fine.
interrupt, but this happened a couple months ago. I don't think I actually talked about it on the podcast, but it happened where this guy was nitronoming. I don't mind the nitronome. It was my first 5-star bomb ever, but he places it, and a lumber barely... He was kind of spamming it, actually. He was blue screen of deathing. But
Yeah.
he places one near a lumber, and this lumber... I'm fighting off guys somewhere else, just with my swords, and the bomb explodes, and this lumber slides across the floor, and as he's sliding, he's swinging, and he kind of catches me, whacks me, and then lands beyond me. It's like while he's sliding, he just whacks me and then keeps going.
That's
It was bad, but I was like, that's probably the most awesome bad thing that's ever happened to me in Spiral Knights. It was...
Did it
was
totally
kinda fun.
defeat the purpose of yelling at him about the fact that he obviously doesn't know how to bomb correctly?
It's okay. Some things can't be helped. It was just one of those golden moments of...
Really one of those things that you can't... Even if you know where it's going to try to go, at least from my personal experience, is that it ends up going even where you plan on it going, ends up sliding all the way across to your teammates. I'm pretty sure there's some mechanic that forces it that way.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten kicked from a party before for bombing.
This is
I was
why,
even
this
using
is why I'm
nitro.
actually happy with vortex bombs. Vortex bombs make it so much easier to be able to, well, fight against mobs.
What does a vortex bomb plus nitronome do? Do you know?
Depends
Glacies?
if they're shocked or not. Really,
It's
I would say,
essentially an implosion into an explosion, I think.
yeah. I would not personally suggest it only because
Yeah.
one.
I think it takes
you-
too much build-up time.
Well, yes, not only that, but if you do it wrong, it's going to go flinging in every single other direction because of
Yeah.
the nitronome outpush. And especially if you have a giant mob inside of that vortex, it's going to end badly. Very badly.
If you would really feel the need to do a nitronome vortex bomb combo, I think you're going to have to go for some really high charge time reduction.
I was just curious.
If you use nitronome electron vortex, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. Well, Glacies' third point?
Try to cover as much surface area with your haze bombs and dark retribution,
Yeah.
assuming enemies are in the area.
Well, this is another sort of given, because your bombs have that AoE burst. You really want to take advantage of the ability to hit as many foes as you possibly can.
I think the biggest problem with Dark Retribution is more or less that it's better, depending on if the enemy's more stationary like lumber or actually more a free movement, is that it might be better to actually do an infinity or an 8 than it is just to stand in one place.
Yeah.
Just because of the Dark Retribution's only power actually is on the outer edge of the bomb.
Yep. Because the inside of the bomb is essentially a safe zone. It really doesn't do all that much.
And I mean, if you're standing there, they're obviously going to go to that safe zone.
Yep.
So it might be actually better to create an infinity and or 8, depending on which way you see it.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, honestly, I usually do like a little small triangle and it
That actually sounds like it'd be more logical, because then you're covering quite a bit of surface area that way.
it doesn't do as much damage per second per enemy, but in crowds it covers more floor with more spinning orbs. There basically isn't a safe zone when you're doing that, and so that's my style. But the only difference... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, that's actually what I do a lot of the times.
Yep.
The only time I stay stationary is when it's against literally a stationary target, like the battle pods and or lumbers, or maybe even turrets.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, haze bombs is generally better to spread them out too, assuming enemies, again, are in the area, with the possible exception of the Ash of Agni, because stacking Ash of Agni fire hazes can actually be okay, because the way fire works is that as soon as an enemy is lit on fire, it takes a tick of fire damage, and then continual ticks after that, and you can stack those, and every time it relights on fire, the fire refreshes, you take a pip of damage. That's why, A, it's bad for you to stand in slag haze, breath haze, but also enemies standing in an Ash of Agni fire continually are going to be continually lit on fire, and that can be like 30 damage, 30 damage, 30 damage, 30 damage, 30 damage, at about that rate. And it can do a pretty good amount of damage.
The best place to use Ash of Agni is in Compound 42. I swear it. If you don't believe me, I hate you.
Well, I would have some doubts, because
if I try this strategy, will I hate you in return?
No, you will love me. You will. I swear, if you do it, you'll have the best experience of your life. Oh, and don't forget to wear Chaos too. I mean, with negative fire resistance, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
And sunglasses, I imagine. It's going to get bright in there. All right.
Consider whether you want your bombs very close to the enemy or a bit offset. This is essentially, based on understanding the bombs that you're going to use, the explosives that you're going. The bombs that you're going to be using should be taken into consideration, and you should understand the strategy that is behind your bombs. Otherwise, you might as well switch to using a different weapon.
Mm-hmm. So haze bombs, you generally... Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I have to agree with him there, because a lot of the, especially with the short bombs, is that the short bomb mechanics, a lot of people say they're not very good, but they're actually decently well if you can chain it right.
Well, because they work like the Dark Retribution, you have to put them in just the right spot so that you can hit them with the edge, or you can hit as many enemies with the edge, because if you try to center them, you're losing out on half of your damage.
Well, you also have to remember that the inner shard bomb, or the initial blast, has pushed back into the outer edges of the bomb.
I know, but at the same time, there are those people who like to shield bash.
Yeah, that's why I like using shard bombs alone, but I don't like using them in a party.
Yeah.
It's one of those bombs where it's fun to use alone, but in a party, it's better just to use something else, like Dark Briar Barrage or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now those bombs. Well, talk about the chaining real quick, because with shard bombs, it's generally place the inner explosion near the enemy. They take damage, get pushed to the outer explosion, and while the outer explosion's exploding, you set another one down right next to them. The outer one explodes, and then the inner one explodes from the new bomb, and it kind of goes in that cycle, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately it's glitched, is that I believe if you chain at least 3 times within a matter of seconds, they become invulnerable to the bombs.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's horrible.
That's interesting. I've not observed that.
It's actually a pretty powerful bomb. It's the Vincetinks or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of people don't realize it's actually really powerful, but the Vincetinks kind of ruined the whole point of chaining.
Yeah. Dang it, Invinciframes.
It really is. It makes me upset after using them. I can see the rage a lot of people had with it.
I suppose we should mention at this point that I keep asking Glacies these things because he is more of a bomber than I am. And I mean, I talk about my bombing endeavors, but you are more than I am.
I actually just go with whatever. I like using just like guns, sometimes bombs, but
when he bombs well. How's that?
That works.
And then the last thing, I guess, off of that is the big explosion bombs, i.e. Nitronome. You generally don't want to put the center of the explosion right on the enemy, because then the knockaway is unpredictable, and you don't know which way he's going to go.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what the
If you
vortex
put
is.
if you put one of them in the middle of a group of enemies that's like coming towards you, that might make a bit more difference, because then it's just going to blow back outwards around you. Which is why I would think that's one of those bombs that would be better to place in the middle of a mob, like if you're running through the mob.
If you're running through the mob, yes, but again, I think the most ideal thing is if you're standing there, you want the bomb in front of you, and all the monsters in front of the bomb, so that when the bomb explodes, it blasts in a cone outwards, so none of the enemies get flung at you.
Or at your teammates.
Yes, that's the general best way to do it, i.e. danger rooms and stuff like that, where you're all huddled up in a corner, just 4 persons spamming Nitronome and blue screen of deathing.
I want to learn how to do Nitronome, but I'm scared that I'm going to get kicked from a party.
Should do some Nitronome practice after this. I don't know.
We should
Anyways.
do an entire shallow with just Nitronome. Let's do it by Vanaduke.
That would
Nothing but
be...
Nitronome.
That would actually be really difficult, I feel. Anyways. Speaking of which, the next point, Glacies.
Oh, hang on, sorry. I had to close my window because someone's going to be mowing their lawn.
No, it's okay.
Let's see. Is it the...
Nitronome.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure, sorry. Nitronome and family spam is for solo parties only. In parties, it should be used tactically to move enemies around, say into a corner, to avoid the blue screen of death.
Yeah.
You don't want
You
your...
you can actually blue screen of death.
The Nitronome is called the blue screen of death by
Oh.
certain people in the meta because that's what it is. It's a blue explosion.
That
But,
tricks the entire screen and tricks the world around you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It is very disturbing.
I feel like the Bab is worse though.
Probably is.
It actually is...
The Bab is
because
a
of the,
game. I think the Bab has been nicknamed like the game freezer because if you use it and spam it, the game of everyone around you, including your own, will slow down to like a crawl.
Big Angry Bomb actually isn't as good as Nitrodome. It does have the pushback and the stun, but the fact the charge time is so slow and the fuse time,
Yeah,
you could easily get 2.5 Nitrodome blasts off versus one Big Angry Bomb
Yep.
off.
And you can move around faster while you're carrying it over you.
Yeah.
The only condolence is just the fact that it's got a funny face.
Yeah, it's true.
Funny face bomb has funny face.
And it makes funny noises at you.
Anyways,
Yes.
if you're in a party,
Yes.
and you set down 2 Nitronomes in a row, within the span of a few seconds, if you're putting down multiple Nitronomes without doing other things in the meantime, you're doing it wrong. In parties,
Yeah.
in most cases, unless there's specific reasons, like again, standing with all 3 of your buddies in one place and all spamming Nitronome, because turns out that actually works. Blue screen of death kills things. Alright, Venom Veiler makes Menders your
I would
friends.
think it would, considering.
Is pretty straightforward.
I
Unless
don't
you're fighting poison.
understand why when you use Venom Veiler, or I say Veiler, but whatever, is that they always go for the Mender when in a party, when they're poisoned. But when they have the rune down, it's literally the best thing ever.
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah.
Gremlin Mender runes.
Yeah, especially when they're poisoned and just continuously poisoned. But I always see, especially in arenas, I see people ignore every single enemy and just go for the Menders despite the fact that they're poisoned.
Because it actually turns Menders into friends because they deal damage to poisoned enemies that are not poison type, and does damage to them instead of heals them.
If the Mender is poisoned,
If the Mender's target is poisoned.
Yeah.
Now, if you poison the Mender also, and Gremlin Menders will try to heal each other, Silkwings don't heal each other, but Gremlin Menders will, then the Gremlin Menders can kill each other too.
yeah.
Speaking of poison, something I've noticed is that lumbers no longer are glitched with poison, actually, so feel free to poison them.
Yay!
Yeah.
It used to be that where they were, for those who don't know, is that they were originally just poisoned and they would heal at the same time, so they took damage and healed the same amount.
How does that even What?
Yeah,
How do
the
you get
healing
that
was
wrong?
not the healing was not canceled. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
They took damage and they healed the exact same amount, but it's
Okay.
fixed now.
Which, just on the side, makes the Mask Wraith Quills a very interesting mechanic where you poison something and the Silkwing or whatever comes along, tries to heal it, damages it instead, and procs the Quill, because taking damage breaks the Quill. So you can just Quill a Lumber, walk away for a little bit, and when you come back, when that poison wears off, it's already got half its health gone.
Yep.
I love using quills with Dark Retribution. Best thing ever.
That's fun, too. I'll usually Quill and then just take a fast gun and just pop, 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 and like, break them all at once.
Yeah.
Alright, next.
I like busting the quills with my blade, but did you just go?
Yes.
Okay. Learn how many bomb charges it takes to defeat an enemy using your preferred bombs in your preferred area of play. 3 DR charges. What's a DR?
Dark Retribution.
Dark Retribution.
Dark Retribution charges kills a puppy in tier 2.
That was just a note that I had.
Yeah,
From my experience.
I have to agree here. I have to agree in the fact that it definitely helps to know how much damage your explosives do, so that you know how many times you have to hit an enemy with them. That's essentially logic for almost any of the weapons in this game. You want to know how much damage, how many times you have to hit an enemy in order to be able to kill them. Otherwise, you're essentially just flying blind, and that's not good.
It makes you more efficient.
I don't
That
particularly enjoy flying blind.
All I do is just take a guess and just go with it.
I count them out, so stand in front of the turret, 1 charge, 2 charges, it'll start to shoot at me, you move around to behind it, set down the 3rd charge, and then walk away. And it makes things efficient that way.
Usually, damage max Dark Retribution takes only 2 charges in a full party on Elite to kill a turret. If maybe 3.
Yeah.
Takes 3 for me going solo without damage max in tier 2 Elite, but I don't know. Who can say these things?
Also remember that the damage output is reduced, so...
This is true. Alrighty.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Prioritizing heating bombs at least to level 5 is a good thing to consider for the charge time reduction low.
Yes.
All weapons gain charge time reduction low at level 5 and charge time reduction medium at level 10. So it's okay to leave your 3 or 4 star bomb at level 10 and not actually transmute it if you're not ready yet. But you should try to get there because the charge time is...
Well, you also have to remember that when you're leveling your equipment, if you don't have enough radiance to get to specifically around, I think it's level 7, level 8, it's essentially not worth it to level up. Well, I'd have to say unless it's like Dark Retribution maybe, or the status bombs maybe. The biggest problem with bombs, well, with weapons in general, is that if you're level 10 at level 4, you'll do more damage than a level 5-star weapon at level 5.
Huh. I guess
that's
that makes
really
sense.
the whole thing, because the only thing you're missing out on without leveling is just the blast radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's literally like, I think, an additional inch maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a tile.
So to reiterate that, then, it's if you've got a 4-star level 10 bomb, it's going to deal more damage than your level 5 bomb at heated to, or a 5-star bomb heated to level 5. So if you don't have the radiance to quote unquote burst heat your weapon to level 6, 7 or beyond, you should leave it at 4-star because it'll be doing more damage. The only thing you're losing is blast radius.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've even seen it with the Dark Retribution bombs, is the difference between the 3-star and the 5-star is literally 1 damage, and 2 is the amount of orbs. But it still does the same amount of damage no matter what. It adds 1 additional orb.
Right. In any case, getting to level 5 is generally a good idea.
Yeah.
This is what I try to do. Whenever I craft a new bomb, I prioritize it and get it to level 5, and then I'll leave it alone. But
luckily, I had all my weapons heated to level 5 before... I mean, not level 5. Level 10 before the whole...
battle sprites.
All the battle sprites and everything.
We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of battle sprites, if you can believe that. It seems like it's more recent than that, but it's just a couple months away.
Yeah.
Well,
I really wish that they'd add... For the Black Seraphins, I really wish that they'd change it where it can't equip the elemental harness, and it exchanges that for the dark one.
To be honest, I thought they actually had something interesting there. They could have altered the attacks to a degree, but they just made it another recolor, like they love to do.
They couldn't even take the time to recolor the laser.
I know, everything's still white.
It's like if you're gonna make a shadow creature, you gotta at least make it so its powers are shadow-based to some degree.
Well, actually, the Seraphim's ultimate, actually, it changes two things. I think it gets a dread seal on its face.
Yes.
And the other one is it gets is it the Baleful aura or is it the Dreadful aura?
I don't know, but it's one of those.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting
Dreadful,
all
I
the
think.
auras. I think it would. Yeah, I think it's
changes
Dreadful.
the name of the auras.
Anyways,
No,
yeah, the point is it doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
At max level, it's not a complete reskin. Aside from the colors are off, it actually has different. You know how it would get like antennas, or it gets a different tail, or whatever.
Halo.
It actually gets different, or a halo. Yeah, it gets different things. So that's something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, if you can get enough bonus attack damage on your bombs to knock enemies over, do it.
Yep.
Because knockover is based on a ratio of damage that you deal versus monsters' total health.
Yes.
So you need enough damage to surpass that ratio and knock enemies over. In Tier 3, I believe damage bonus max seems to be necessary to knock over gremlins. At the bottom of Tier 3, damage bonus max to knock over full-size thwacking gremlins with a Darkbriar Barrage.
Yes.
In a 2-player elite party. The only reason I say that is because Zeddy and I, and Glacies and I, when we ran not Save Winterfest, Grinchland Assault, you'd need damage max to knock over the gremlins in that level. When you were going.
I would honestly prefer, if you had the two choices, I'd have to say, depending on, one, your difficulty, and two, your party size, damage bonus might actually be better than charge time reduction, just because of the ability to knock down.
Yes. Because your amount of charge time reduction doesn't matter if you can keep them on their back permanently until they die.
Yep.
And not only that, for something specifically like Darkbriar Barrage, it's not very good if you can't knock them down, because that's really the whole point of the bomb itself, is why everyone uses it. Because there's nothing worse when you place that bomb and you don't knock them down. Without any knockback or anything, you're pretty much screwed.
Yep. Okay, the Darkbriar Barrage doesn't have any knockback?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, they just kind of flop over.
Sucks.
No, it's good. They just flop.
Well,
they don't get pushed out. So you just stand there and keep knocking over like 8 wolvers in a circle, and they just keep flopping on their bellies until they die.
It's literally a piercing nitronome with, I think, a higher chance of knocking back than the nitronome does, or stunning them, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Stuttering, whatever.
Well, yeah, the difference between knock back, which is to fling outwards, and knock down, which is to flop on back or belly.
Yeah.
Where they just get
Because
stunned.
that's literally
Like
the
when
reason
you
why...
hit like when you hit the Mechanites and they drop down onto their drop backwards, that's essentially the knockdown. And to be honest, I feel like the knockdown's a little bit more effective than the knockback.
Depends on the
Because
situation.
it's that
but yes.
period of stun that really makes it easier for you to be able to take advantage of an enemy's position.
Yeah. Glacies, what were you saying?
I was saying that it's a lot of reason why I prefer Darkbriar Barrage over Nitronome, just because, one, it's a piercing Nitronome, so it's more effective against fiends than fiends and
Beast.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting all the
Classes, the class of creatures.
But the one thing is, knockdown is very useful, especially in a party, if you can actually do it. Because when you're going through, especially the deconstruction zones where there's hordes and hordes of gremlins, that knockback or knockdown is very, very useful in supporting the party.
Absolutely.
Whereas
Yes.
knockback is going to may or may not cause a lot more issues. Because I think the damage bonus requirement to knock back or knock down, god dang it, sorry, knock down on Nitrodome's a much higher requirement than Darkbriar Barrage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed with Nitronome, even if you do get knocked down, you also get knocked back so you can't really chain Nitrodome explosions unless everything is aggroed to you, gets up and starts running at you again. In which case they walk into the second explosion because they've already been knocked out of the blast radius. But if that's the case, then you don't need knocked down because they're coming in anyways. So
Yeah.
if that makes a lick of sense. So find what works for your bombs. Find out how much damage bonus you need to knock down. Even Dark Retribution can knock down on like Gremlinites and stuff depending on where you are.
Actually, the chat's saying about the Grievers. The Grievers are interrupted by any single attack. It doesn't matter how powerful it is.
That's one of the main reasons why I think they made the Grievers a bit tougher, because they're so easy to interrupt.
You literally can interrupt them with Proto Sword.
You can interrupt, essentially anything that can deal damage to them is kind of an interruption. They're fragile, but they're essentially a glass cannon enemy, and that's what can make them a pretty significant threat if you're incapable of actually being able to take them down.
They get very dangerous when they actually start attacking between doing everything that a knight can do. Melee, guns, and bomb haze. They are the ultimate. They are the final form of a knight. But
that haze is
just
so evil.
Even Dark Retribution spam around the arena when the Grievers are flying around will keep them from attacking because they'll keep taking small amounts of damage.
Yep.
I am reminded when the haze areas caused Invincitinks. That made it a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh my.
That was horrible. You were stuck, especially when you were swarmed around. It just stuck.
Yeah,
yep.
that's
just,
why.
I'm in a haze. I'm dead. Bye, guys.
Yeah, that's why That's why the moment they come swooping in at you, you immediately either have to start swinging at them or hitting them with something. Which is why if you run full guns with them, it's kind of a pain.
Yep. Well, I guess the last thing, I'll wrap this up, but ASI affects the speed at which your knight sets the bomb down. Can you actually get ASI naturally, like as a UV on a bomb? I don't think you can, right?
I don't think so.
You can't.
I've never seen it, so I'm just...
You can't. It's I believe it was possible in the beta, but I believe they removed it just because attack speed increase literally doesn't help much at all.
Yeah.
It just makes it so you throw your bomb down on the ground faster.
Actually, I remember they removed it when they removed the fact that you could normal attack with bombs for it, like how you just press the attack button and it placed down a charge, a very weak charge, but it just placed down the bombs instantly, like in Blast Network. But I believe that they removed it because people were just spamming it. But at that time, attack speed increase was useful, but right now it's not very useful. Well, it actually isn't useful because the only difference is that it changes the animation speed of your pickup and kind of
setting down.
Yeah, setting down.
Now, charge time reduction is what you're looking for if you want to be putting out more DPS, because more bombs on the floor per second.
Yes.
When
are they going to give us multi-bombs?
Yeah, they should bring back the mechanic of the old bombs, but...
No, I said multi-bombs.
Well, I'm just saying
no,
the
I
old
know.
bomb mechanic. Sorry, I'm just building on you.
Why isn't there a Blast Network bomb we can use in PvE?
I know.
Because
right?
they haven't made it so we can use PvP class weapons from Lockdown. And until they do that, they're not going to make it so weapons from Blast Network can become a thing either.
I think the Lockdown shields would be too overpowered, though, especially the Guardian shield out of everything.
Yeah.
Then decrease its power outside. I mean, restrict its power a little bit.
I made a suggestion for the Recon Rangers is that because of how they have the death mark, is why not just include different variants, like have a Guardian that stays there for like 15 seconds or whatever with its shield up.
Because then the recon flare that they added in would not be useful anymore.
Actually, it would still be very useful because they're very rare drops. I mean, I only get like one per run.
Yeah. It would be nice.
It would be.
There's nothing bad with it as long as you can even it out where it's a rare drop. Because literally, I only get like one recon flare per run.
I found like 3 of them on that one run in the shopping list.
That was funny.
Just spam, drop a whole crap load of them. It's like, yay! You're not gonna hurt. We're gonna do more damage to you slightly.
Now, the one thing that ASI does imply in the fact that attack speed increase does not actually affect your bombs in any way means that you can actually play the tanky support of your team of sorts, because you can do the quote-unquote supporting thing that bombers do, where they're kind of running into enemies using stuff like plate mail, which reduces your attack speed. Except,
I really need to finish Gain my Volcanic Plate Helm. I really want to use it.
I mean, attack speed doesn't affect you, so go in there. You can take a little bit of extra punishment. You can drop your Seraphix's heart attack and place down like a freeze bomb, or a shock bomb, or a stun bomb, or a poison bomb, or all of the above, and then get out of there, and you'll do great.
That's why I do unlock in all the time. Just place down every single stash bomb except for Shiver Mist.
Place down all the explosives.
Oh, I guess it's worth saying for people that are complete idiots, like, there are bombs that are anti-combo and you should avoid them, i.e., your teammate brings Shiver Mist. Do not Ash of Agni, you idiot. Someone brings Shiver Mist. Do not bring Nitronome, you idiot.
And it should also be noted that sometimes being stashed entirely, specifically with, I'd have to say, Voltic Tempest and Shiver Mist, more or less the latter, don't spam it all the time. It's understandable in some scenarios, but there's nothing worse than being cornered in a room full of hordes of zombies that are attacking you. You have nothing to push them back with, and they're frozen in place, and someone just keeps on spamming that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a no-no.
Be careful. Be smart.
Yes. Be smart. Don't be careful, be smart. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Oh, shock amp.
Don't be a tool.
Most things have opposite anti-synergy with the Shiver Mist Buster to be let's try that again. Shiver Mist Buster has anti-synergy with most damage-dealing things, because any type of damage will free them. But the point of using that is to CC, and you can leave those enemies. They'll even take damage if you let them go the whole duration, and unfreeze. They will take about a sword swing's worth of damage. So
I would say that freeze is actually just, in general, not a very good status to go with anything. Because look at the Chilling Duelist. I mean, it's a freeze in Antigua. I mean,
it's also a level 1 weapon.
That's also true, but I mean, why would you put freeze on something that has a high
It's a
rate of
peanut
fire?
pop gun, essentially, that shoots out little peas. It's useless.
It's not useless. It's special. Don't hurt its feelings.
I need
it's
my.
It's about as useful as the glowing red stick. That's essentially how useful it is.
I love using the glowing red stick.
I don't like using the glowing red stick. You're just hitting things.
Speaking of which, this is actually a good time to jump into our sprint question. Not to interrupt you guys, but it's kind of related, because our sprint question, which is just this 60 seconds to answer this question, usually we'll take turns, but I think we might do this as a cooperative. Sky Scythe asked us this week, Spiral Knight's band's name? And so I feel like, what were we calling those weapons just now? You guys had a couple of good names for the frozen pea gun.
Peanut pop.
The glowing red stick.
The glowing red sticks. Is that a band name?
Red sticks. That would work.
The anti-synergy.
Anti-synergy.
Button mash.
Let's not cap out here. What's another good one?
The
Downward Spiral.
The Jelly Green Giants.
Downward Spiral would work.
Jelly Green Giants.
Darkbriar Barrage.
That's actually not bad either.
That actually isn't.
I like that. Let's go with that. Lock that one in.
Barrage.
The Darkbriar Barrage. Sweet deal. Alright, well, we got some transmutations to get to, unless you guys have any other final thoughts.
No.
The core.
No, let's not keep on the core. We can't do anything with that.
Please, Pliss onion rings. Call 3 rings onion rings when you want them to do things that they're obviously not going to do anytime soon. Just a little secret.
Replace all the crowns with onion rings.
Yeah. Pliss onion rings.
Oh no, wait, better idea. Heat. Replace heat with onion rings.
Heat with onion rings. Do it. Pliss onion rings. Do it. Pliss 3 rings. Alright, moving on.
Okay.
Transmutations. Well, Transmutation is where we talk about things we'd like to see in the game. These are all reasonable changes, so let's not dwell on any of them for too long, because it's all speculation and that. But,
Alright.
let's talk through them. In Glacies, we're going to be... We've already gotten some ideas from you and stuff like that, but we're going to ask you
crap.
what you might want when we're done here.
Okay.
Alright.
So let's do this thing.
Alright, well, Zang, take the first one then.
Alright, Karap would like to see some orb crafting recipes, similar to fire crystals. These would let you turn higher orbs into the orb that it is before it, and it would have to be a small exchange so it's not overpowered. One Eternal could become too elite, one elite could become too advanced, etc., etc. Well, in my personal opinion, I don't really... I could see this being a thing that works, but at the same time, I'm not the right person to ask for this because I'm not exactly one who cares that much about crafting all that much.
Well, I would say this. Orbs are kind of one of those... Orbs, are, along with fire crystals, are obviously the slowdowns. When rarities were introduced, they were there when they removed energy costs on elevators to slow down the game and keep people from just doing whatever. And so I feel like you said one Eternal could become too elite. I'd almost feel like you'd make it 2 Eternal becomes 1 elite. I feel like that'd be the only way to balance it. I know fire crystals kind of do it the other way, but...
The biggest problem with that is, especially since it is the currency to craft stuff, if you don't have the prices right, and it could eventually break somehow. I mean...
Yeah, someone's gonna figure out a way to break it.
It won't be the first time. I mean...
Nope.
That's true. So, you'd have to walk a very thin line, but orb crafting recipes would be kind of nice. I don't know. I don't have a profusion of orbs right now, so...
I would personally like it. With all my Eternals, I have like 55 Eternals and I can't use them.
I hit 24 elites this week. And, 9
you
Eternals?
You need to take me on some runs, dang it. I need some elites.
I just find, dude, this is 24 elites in the last, 6 months, though. I find one every now and again, because I just do the daily mission, and it's just, oh, look, an elite.
Yeah.
I've been only finding a couple just because I've been helping my friend out through Spiral Knights.
Sweet.
Stuck on Royal Jelly. We've been running Royal Jelly quite a bit.
Alrighty. Well, this next one...
Jelly.
Is from Sky Scythe, and it says, a bomb, fancy that sits in place for a long time, but deals redacted amounts of damage and takes almost a Grand Foss time to charge. So it would be an excellent kiting bomb, perhaps as a piercing weapon with a vine sprouting from the ground and whipping around, something like that. So basically, I think a better Big Angry Bomb is what it sounds like.
Perhaps. I could see something like that working, but the problem is I don't understand why it would make it last a long time. How about a bomb that makes it so it has to be touched by an enemy to activate?
That would actually be pretty nice. I think I wouldn't want to see any bombs with a very long fuse time, just because of the whole Nitronome versus Big Angry Bomb debate, is that if you have something with a very long fuse time, no matter how good it is, it's going to become kind of
obsolete.
Useless. Yeah,
obsolete.
Just because of damage versus time, really. It's just...
In the time that it took to charge and set down this bomb, my teammate already acroned 2 or 3 slimes to death.
Exactly.
I would rather see anything, if they did that, I would rather see it have a faster charge time, but a lot less damage.
Perhaps.
So super fast, light damage bombs.
Yeah. That's something I'd...
Thinking about it with the Grand Faust in mind, I see a bomb that would basically open up, sprout out blade, and spin around.
Sprinkler system.
Yeah, exactly, like a sprinkler system kind of thing. And to be honest, that's why I think it could be activated by somebody touching it.
Add an actual sprinkler bomb that decreases fire damage but increases potency of freeze.
And shock.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Please, onion rings. Please, sprinkler bomb.
Sprinkler bomb, please, onion rings. So stupid.
Sky Scythe also said a compound 42 haze bomb with a pitiful radius, so I imagine a fire poison bomb the size of a proto bomb.
Dumps out oil, like poisoned oil, that if you set it on fire and enemies run through it, it not only burns them but also poisons them.
I think that'd be a bit too overpowered. It put
perhaps
even with the small radius, it put really the Ash of Agni and both the Venom Vialer out of jobs, really. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're getting 2 statuses out of one bomb, what's the point of crafting the other bombs?
It's very true.
Pitiful damage.
But the point of the haste bombs aren't for really damage. I mean, it's more or less for the actual status.
So what
Pitiful
if,
radius?
by pitiful status, it was like old protobomb radius? Like 2 knights standing side by side equals the radius of this bomb and no more.
That actually won't be too bad. But
at that point, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's still the fact that it just be an example. It's just be like a brandish with fire and shock. What's the point of crafting voltage or combustor if you get a brandish that could inflict both fire and shock on the charge? We only had like 1 or 2 less explosions.
So this just made me think of something, though. Instead of a bomb, you know how pickups are usually in vials, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we used to call them, vials. Is that what they're still called? Do we still call them vials?
Yeah, they're still vials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you mix those, please?
That'd be nice, actually.
Can I get 2 of them and mix them together? And get a shock fire thing and just chuck it? And boom?
Only if
I
there was
think
some
I think in the
cost
case
it,
of the
really.
I think mixing them, I think the concept behind mixing them, what you do is you get a 50-50 chance essentially of it working, and that way there's actually a risk of trying to mix them together.
So
Chance
long
to
as
backfire.
it casts it on you instead. I don't know, just as long as it didn't slow me down while I was running.
Yeah.
I don't want vials to take up I don't use them anyways, so I don't want them to take up my time trying to mix them.
Uses vials all that.
I used to use stun vials, but they removed the point of them. Is the knockback. They removed that. I have no idea why.
Because the knockback wasn't really the thing behind them, I guess. They were just basically status vials.
That's what their intent was, to make them status vials, and so the unintentional effect of the knockback was like, they're like, I don't like this, let's get rid of it.
Yeah. I kind of like this next idea, though, here, because I used to like to be helpful when energy was actually, when giving your own HP was a thing to help people to revive, which they took out, which I really don't like, but that's just my personal opinion.
Anyways, Heroia says, go for it.
Okay. Words for reviving. Seeing how we are giving up a spark of life to revive one of our own comrades, such an act reminds me of days of old when we shared our health. We gave a bit of our heat towards the knight who gave us the revival. So why not a proper reward for reviving them? Yes, why not a proper reward for reviving somebody who obviously cast a fall?
Depends what the reward is, honestly, on my point. The biggest problem is exploiting. It's a same thing
I
as...
understand that. What I feel like is, how would you get it to work? Maybe... Oh, sorry. No.
Glacies, you were going to say something else?
Well, like, I was thinking, like, especially, like, an example is the people say, when I disconnect, can enemies please not target me because, But the whole thing is, it's nice, but you already know people are going to abuse it. It's not even a matter of discussion. It's people are going to abuse it.
Yeah.
And the problem with the reward is, unless it was something very small, like, let's say just you get some confetti. How about that?
Bound.
You get some... you get some bound confetti.
How about when you revive someone, you get a revival token, and after you get a particular amount of these tokens, and you can go to a shop in Haven, and you can give up a huge chunk of these tokens in order to be able to buy your own sparks of life.
As long as the ratio was like you got maybe like 33% back, maybe.
That would make sense, because that would make it fair, but just something to make it seem like if you're actually helping people, you get something in return.
Yeah, I'd actually like this just because of the whole thing of...
I mean, I think when people think of a reward, I think like after they revive after they revive so many times, they get like a particular, like a special item, or they get the ability to acquire a special item, or they get like a actual reward from the game itself. To do that would mean that every time you revive a particular amount of people, you would get another reward again and again, and that would be abusable.
Yeah, that's really the only problem. But I do like the fact that how you said about getting like a revive token or whatever.
That's a nice
Essentially,
mechanic.
essentially it means by helping people, you're able to get something in return, and usually that something means that you can be more helpful to your allies again.
It would also be an interesting implementation because back in August when they implemented Sparks of Life and stuff like that, they said one of our focuses of this update is teamwork. And we had this big riot on the podcast because, wait a second, how is removing reviving teammates cheaply teamwork? But this would actually kind of put that back in context where now you don't want to run solo and spend a Spark of Life and get nothing in return. You want to work in a party where you revive your teammate revives you, and get something out of it.
Exactly. I just really wish they brought...
200 people, you get
I'm
sprite
just
skill that
surprised
revives people.
why they took it wholly out heal enemies by giving them some of your health really does bother me. I feel like that still should be a thing.
In a way, I do and I don't. I think the biggest problem is that maybe you should be able to give up your emergency revive or something, but the whole problem was with the health sharing. One, yes, it did have a bit of teamwork. I've said this on the forums quite a few times, is that it still took away from the teamwork, because you could just go out there dying and you're like, oh, okay, I can just sit here and just keep on dying, you know.
Without consequence.
Yeah.
But the consequence was the fact that you had to share health. That was the reason why it was a consequence.
But it wasn't a consequence to you. It was a consequence to your teammates.
Yeah, it was a consequence.
No, it was a consequence to you because you had to give up half of your health.
But you didn't give up anything. If you just play reckless and die, your teammate gives health back to you.
Oh, that's
and you're just leeching health off of them. And if you don't need heat, then you've got nothing to lose.
That's literally the whole thing, because I've seen this before, and even a Shadow Lair, is that there's someone that just kept on going out there, dying, and I just stopped health reviving him because it's like, okay, I'm kind of dwindling down here to literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the whole thing, even with this emergency revive, is that it's like, you're supposed to stick together. You're supposed to stay together, work as a team to make sure that everyone makes it through. And that's why they even give you a free health emergency revive, is to help give you that chance of, oh, okay, if I'm dying here multiple times, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It's not that, like, even in Firestorm Citadel, if you're dying a lot and you just have someone health reviving, it's like, oh, okay, there's nothing wrong, you know?
Yep.
But it shows you that if you can't make it through without at least not dying twice, that you need to go back, look at what you're doing wrong.
That's a good point.
So I really see nothing wrong with no health sharing, but it would still be nice to see some kind of point back at least.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, Greenlink and Dragon Idiom in the chat have kind of worked together and brought up another idea of, so say when you create your knight, you choose this knight to be hardcore, where you always play an elite, and you can get a Seraphynx, and the ultimate for the Seraphynx is the Defibrillator Heart Attack, which is that get a sprite skill that revives people, but when you die, there's a small chance of permadeath. Would that be...
I don't like that.
That'd be pretty hacksy.
That's too much of a drawback.
I don't like the idea. No, it's way too much. If you... Well, the worst part is knowing that every time you die, you have a chance of permanently losing your character, because if you get to a particular threshold in the game, you start to actually like the character, and then you die.
It would be to the point for people that...
And then you lose everything.
Yeah, it would be for the people that already have a knight completely with everything they want in the game, though.
I think the problem with that, though, is that Sprawl Knights, with it being an online game, isn't really suited for that. I mean...
it's not really suited for permadeath.
True.
I mean, the only games that are really suited for permadeath are games that are just kind of minuscule, like Realm of the Mad God. I mean, no one really cares what happens to their character in Realm of the Mad God.
The whole point is that, especially since if you put money into it and then you lose your character,
yeah,
I kind of think that would piss a lot of people off. Spiral Knights isn't really meant for something like that, unless it was like some extra game mode or something where, like the Coliseum, just an example, is where you don't actually lose your character, you just lose your progress.
Okay. That's fine, yeah, it wasn't the fully fleshed out idea anyways. And Dragon Idiom clears it up and he says, I think it was more that other people die. As in, you use the heart attack on them, and there's a chance that they'll be permadeathed, but never mind.
No, because
So-
then they're gonna hunt you down again, and they're gonna get pissed at you.
Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Okay. Well, we've actually heard a lot from Glacies, and you have a lot of good ideas, and you speak out on the forums and stuff. If you want to check out some of his stuff, he's on there. Got an interesting idea about like a Cold Iron Vanquisher able to kill zombies within Grim Totems, which would make it actually somewhat reasonable to sometimes use. But do you have anything else in mind off the top of your head, Glacies?
Well, one thing I was thinking of, just one suggestion I was trying to still work out, but I was talking to Quote about it, and he says it's still somewhat abusable, is a lot of people are saying how, like, if they disconnect or whatever, that enemies shouldn't focus on them. I was thinking if they add, like, an away from keyboard key, that what happens is if you click it, you basically go to an invisible ghost-like state. You can't move, but enemies will not drop loot for you or anything, but you can't just switch it on or off. There's like a 2-minute delay before you can actually turn it off.
I feel like to make that better, you actually can't do anything when you're in this AFK mode.
You can't.
Yeah,
You
that's
wouldn't
what
be
I'm
able
saying. It's that
Like,
you're stuck.
your weapons disappear,
You can't
shield
move.
disappears.
You can't
Yeah,
move
you
or
can't
attack,
move,
or
you
you
can't.
come out of the mode.
Well, not
You
even
might-
that. It's literally you can't move for a set duration, and you can't turn it off to prevent people from just abusing it. Like, hey, okay, I'm just going to turn it off. Just let everyone else work. But you'll lose loot for it, and you'll lose all the probability. So it's still something, but
like, so for things that would drop, you actually can't pick up anything that drops.
It doesn't show up on your screen as if you were
Yeah.
dead.
yeah. So it prevent people from just abusing it, and there's a cooldown on it, so you can't just say go on, off, on, off.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like something that could work.
Could
But
work.
the whole
It does
thing-
sound slightly exploitable.
Yeah, the whole thing is like specifically like arenas is especially with like noobs if they go away from keyboard and then just come back whenever.
Yeah. Or
But-
just if you're getting aggro targeted and you just drop enemy aggro because you don't, for any reason at any point.
But the whole problem of that too is that you lose the probability of losing loot. So you can't just say, okay, I'm just gonna have them stop aggroing me, but you'll be stuck in that mode for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And even if people do exploit it, I mean, if you're not the party leader, you can always say, okay, you know what, you need to be kicked.
Yeah. Fascinating. Huh. I feel like
It's
that
not-
goes in the same folder as the can we pause the game when we're in a solo party.
That's what I was trying to get, is just something that even like when you disconnect, it activates so you don't die, because there's something horrible then. Reminds me why I hate Comcast is I went on Spikes in Shadow Lair, and bam, disconnected right there
Oh no.
on the spikes, and I couldn't do anything, and I died, and my emergency revive was used up. So if
That's
it would be it'd be something just to prevent, one, from people exploiting it, and two, give people what they've been asking for. It's just a way to kind of not die while disconnected.
Yeah.
That's all I can really think of.
And I don't know, maybe it's just only disconnect. Maybe you can't toggle it to keep the exploits from happening, because I think that would reduce exploits, is just make it only disconnect. Only on disconnect.
It actually wouldn't be too bad, but as long as it still has that like 2-minute duration or some duration where, because the whole problem is a lot of people have said that if they do that is that people will just disconnect if it's too hard for them and then just come back. But if they could also do it, they could toggle it for specific missions. Like an example is on Grinchland Assault, you can't toggle it at all because nothing drops loot there, so it's not like you can lose anything.
But you could still die, and that's the point of the suggestion, right? Is to keep yourself from dying when you disconnect, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if they could, if anything, they could even disable it for certain missions, especially like the Toradrome mission, Grinchland Assault, and I can't think of any more.
What if it cost you a spark to do it?
Then
Does
I
that
really
defeat
think they would.
the purpose, or does
No,
it not?
I think they would have to implement my idea initially of getting that extra reward for when you revive somebody, because otherwise you're gonna run out of sparks of life immediately.
Actually, the emergency revive activation wouldn't be too bad as long as it does the whole thing of that they don't drop loot.
Yeah.
I think would be the whole thing is that there needs to be some penalty for not reviving. Because I know, actually, they do have that implemented. Is if you're dead, enemies don't drop loot at all.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
I completely forgot about that.
It's a good change. More importantly, boxes don't either.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Glacies, savior of all people with bad internet. So, good deal. I guess
I hate
let's
you,
move on here.
Comcast.
Darn it, Comcast. Spiral Order Recon.
I got it. Yikes.
Alright, welcome to Spiral Order Recon, where we talk about Spiral Knights related media. I guess the first one is Button Mash Empire, as in the original Marokas. Spiral Knights, Margrel. So he just put his fight up, so if you want to see Zang, along with Sir Greenlink Sky Scythe, and...
If you want to see me running around with, like a chicken with my head cut off, and go ahead
I
and
actually
watch
want
that
to see
video.
that. I shall see that.
Well,
if you can see it, because
the problem was the fact that I didn't have my headset, so I actually couldn't talk. So, because otherwise it sounded like the feedback was horrible, like absolutely horrible. So they had to turn me off. So it was essentially just the three of them, and I was running around basically in silent mode. So that's fun.
Yeah. And, I mean, the other thing is Maroka's computer tanks when Margrel comes out, because all the resources, and he drops to, like, 5 frames per second. So...
The one thing I wish, Spiral Knights had support for Shadow Play, but...
Yeah.
I would love that. It
Oh,
would be
well.
the greatest thing ever.
It's one of those, a man can dream.
Yeah.
2 features from HRPB, the Maple Vodka Man, this week, he's not part of the live stream this week? Where is that man? Anyways, he did Thingamajig 3. You should check out his Thingamajigs. They're really interesting. He makes a scene in Spiral Spy, and then he takes it into a art design, one like Photoshop or one of the Photoshop's equivalents, and like pretties it up and adds like extra light effects and backgrounds and stuff like that, and it's really neat. I'd strongly suggest you check this out if you haven't seen his Thingamajigs. He uses GIMP. Thank you. So...
No, it uses Photoshop.
No, who uses Photoshop? Psh.
I
His
use
other video...
Paint. Light effects really quick. Hang on. I need to go add some light effects to Spiral Knights. It's very important.
Okay.
They should hire me. Concept art designist with using paint.
So, what's your experience? Well, I use MS Paint, and that's it. Anyways, HRPB's other video is the Oculus Rift Plus Spiral Knights?
To be honest, I actually want to see that implemented. That would be amazing.
It's not an actual thing. He just worked with Spiral Spy
But it would be amazing.
to imagine what it might look like if you had an Oculus Rift playing Spiral Knights. And that first-person look, yeah, it's amazing.
It would be amazing.
It's cool, too. He interacts with the vendors and does a little walking around and stuff like that. So
Exactly. Why isn't that a thing?
because they'd have to basically rewrite the entire game.
And Facebook. Don't forget Facebook.
They
we
could
have
make it like Sword Art Online, where it does the thing with the finger. Something
they'd
I
still
don't
have to rewrite the entire game.
know. I know.
But we'd
Too
get
much work.
first-person Spiral Knights, which would be fun.
Yes.
Do a first-person shooter Spiral Knights.
Gunner
It
update.
would essentially be like Skyrim, but Spiral Knights.
Yeah, what you don't know about the Gunner update, basically.
I thought the Gunner update already happened.
Oh, that's right. Chilling Duelist got fixed. Gunner update.
Yeah.
So now we're waiting on the Bomber update.
Yes, fear the freezing peanut pop gun, which is essentially completely and utterly pointless.
Can we make that a song?
Freezing Peanut Pop Gun.
Yes, make
right
it a
ahead.
song for the band Darkbriar Barrage.
Go right
It's
ahead.
their single. Anyways, Jesters 036. I don't understand the significance of these digits, and if anyone else does, feel free to speak up. But Jester is a friend of mine, anyways. Really good self-taught artist, and so we like to feature his stuff. Not to mention it looks really good, and he usually lands on Fan Art Friday in most cases. This is just a really nice-looking picture. It's not his most advanced work. It's, in fact, pretty simple, but it still looks nice. The perspective might be a little bit off, but it still looks really nice.
Yes, it does.
Along with the rest of Jester's stuff, so check that out. If you like nice-looking Spiral Knights art, he's done some cool stuff. We featured almost all of it on the show before. And this is obviously the significance of 036, the 36th Pokemon Clefable. I do not get it. Never mind. Last one's Ketchum Dark Dragons. I don't know. Ketchum Dark Dragons Lovely Nights is the last one. And I wish Lord Hood was here because he likes Russian people. Because it's a little bit of what's in his blood. And it's not a racist comment or anything. It's just a statement of fact. The same way I like Korean people because it's in my blood. Anyways, this is artist Russian Ketchum. Even makes Howlo look like something that everyone would want to wear. This is a very vibrant, good-looking picture.
I like the emotion in the faces of the knights, and I really wish that they would make it so we could actually show something like that.
It's a very nice-looking picture.
It makes me think of the one that was made for Miles Per Hour, titled "Kiss" by El Sato.
Okay.
Because of the affection shown between the two people, and we don't get to see enough of that.
All right.
Why isn't there a marriage option in Spiral Knights? This is why they need to implement genders.
That would get kind of weird, to be honest.
Yeah.
What if you wanted to break up?
I think,
well, not a marriage option, a relationship option of some kind, something.
Well, I don't think that story really supports relationship options. I mean, you're on a distant planet trying to get home.
That doesn't mean you can't develop a budding relationship.
This isn't the time for relationships.
No.
I mean, who's going to be where is it even going to take place at? Are you going to do it at the core?
What? How romantic.
How
Anyways, Ketchum Dark Dragon has also does some really nice art, and you should check it out. It all looks good. Oh no, chat, why would you go there?
What did the chat say?
Well, they started talking about, the eye modifiers, and you can change your emotion. And then they moved on to, butt modifiers. And gender modifiers and all that kind of good stuff. Let's not go there, please.
Yes, please.
That's a scary part of the internet.
We should be
I like big
better
butts, and I
than
cannot
that.
lie.
You others can't deny.
I'm going to pretend like I don't know that reference. And we're going to skip Buzz banter also because I feel like they wouldn't be saying anything good with the rumors of button modifiers around. Actually, just because we're out of time, if you can't tell. This is another long-running podcast, so yay for that. Let's wrap this up with unique variants. Yay.
Ladies and gentlemen, your unique variants.
Dark chocolate is delicious. Just saying.
Yes, it is.
That's
You like chocolate. I hate chocolate.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're missing out. This is 80% dark chocolate I got right here.
Wait, you hate chocolate?
I hate basically any
Someone
kind of
I'm
sweet.
talking to.
He eats lemons,
okay.
like skin and all. He just bites into lemons and just chews them up. Well, unique variants. After talking about dark chocolate for a while and getting derailed by that, we're back. And the one notable thing for us is that the website got updated. So if you haven't gone to sklayelite.com/arsenal yet, go there. We changed it and made it green because green is a creative color.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Totally is.
No, it's not.
Ask
No.
for a green link.
No.
You'd say so.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
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 It's not
No.
a creative color. Your argument is invalid. 2-1.
Oh, well.
You are
Well, the
not
website stays green. I'm not changing it. Nah.
Change it to purple.
No. Why
Yeah.
would it be purple? One thing to note about the website is that, we used to have a sidebar on the left of the old website where you could get links and do things like that. It's still there. Your window just needs to be big enough. If your window's too small, the sidebar disappears. And I don't know why it does that. And because I don't know why it does that, I can't fix it. I've tried. I don't know how to make it stay. So, unfortunately, you need a big enough window to make the bar on the side appear. So if you want to access any of that stuff, just make your window bigger. Just thought I'd say it on the show. Once again, a reminder about Spiral Lights, which is our charity event hosted by the podcast. Zang's going to be there on Saturday, at least.
I'll try to be.
Glacies is going to be there, probably on both days. Hanging out.
Cannot wait.
It's going to be fun.
Can't wait for my Powerade.
Powerade.
Yeah, I'm going to have something here, too. Sodas and stuff. Organic, mind you.
I want my drink mix.
Yeah.
My drink mixing.
It will be from Friday to Saturday. This is June 6th to 7th, 2014. This is an event that we're doing for charity. You can get involved if you donate. You can come and play games with us, or you can just watch at twitch.tv/spirallights. So if you want to go, follow the channel right now, or bookmark it, or do whatever, feel free to do so. Otherwise, go to sklayly.com/arsenal for all of the details. If you can't attend, don't worry. They will all go up on our YouTube.
Collect all of the details.
In the meantime,
Collect them all.
tell some friends about us. In the meantime, tell some friends about the event. Collect all the friends. Post the information about Spiral Lights on your social media of choice. Shout it to your guild chat. Rant about it in Random Havens without being annoying.
Yep.
Put it in the guild message of the day, or ask that it be put in the guild message of the day.
Send in some support tickets and say, hey, you should check out this, That might help.
The GMs already know. They're already supporting us. All of the giveaways that we're doing are given to us by the GMs, so that's fun.
Yay.
Anyways, that will be the end of another long episode of the Arsenal Podcast, episode 78. So,
Yay.
you guys keep doing that. I'll keep talking here.
Yay.
You can tell. I'm not gonna make it. You can tell a friend about the podcast while you're telling them about the Spiral Lights event. So do that.
Latisan-Sklay.
My hero.
Is there anything that anyone you guys want to shout out to? Once again, shout out to all the moms of the world. Happy Mother's Day.
And Skyside, because they let me join in despite the fact that I was completely unprepared.
End quote.
You are
There's an awesome
not
person.
prepared. Illidan Stormrage, World of Warcraft. Don't ask me. Actually, I know that because of Hearthstone. Never mind. What else?
Quote. He's my favorite person.
Epic
Gotta try
Romance.
harder, Latisan.
Thanks. Shout out to Yay, because Yay. Thanks.
Do it.
Yay.
Alright. Well, you can call us at... Keep yaying. Call us at 1-678-322-7765. You can join the Steam group. We're almost at 200 members, so that's fun. You can email us at arsenal@sklayly.com, or check out the website, sklayly.com/arsenal. And lastly, if you want, you can see our YouTube, where we put our videos and stuff up, youtube.com/sklayly. Thank you for listening. Epic podcast. Thanks, Glacies, for joining.
Thank you for having me be here. I hope I can do
I'm
it again.
Zang, that's Latisan-Sklay, that's Glacies, we're Team Button Mash. Have a nice day. Drive home safe.
Oh, yeah.
Geared up and ready to go? Thanks for listening to the Arsenal, a Spiral Knights podcast. See links and listen to previous episodes on our website, sklayly.com/arsenal. Send comments, questions, and audio to arsenal@sklayly.com, or give us a call at 1-678-322-7765.
Does the Revenge of Boost expansion pack contain Kog'maw coin boosters? Would you fight Boost, or work with Boost to overthrow Kog'maw?
Something tells me that you would probably have to fight Boost to calm him down, and then help him to defeat Kog'maw. And then they come to an understanding. Because Kog'maw.
I think you choose. I think when you get the expansion, you choose side with Kog'maw or side with Brinks.
And then maybe
And
they do
then
that
the
for a
expansion
period.
plays out based on that.
Yeah, maybe they do that. Maybe it's like what they intended to do with Defiance, though that didn't work.
And it involves PvP. in an expansion. Like there's actual PvP that affects how the expansion goes, and how it
That'd be
works is
interesting.
your knight sides with one or the other. You get in a lockdown game, it pairs you with other people that have sided as yours, and the number of matches won by that side at the end of a 24-hour period progresses the expansion in that direction, and it's like a week-long event.
Yeah, that would actually be really interesting.
That would actually be amazing. Dang it, why haven't we started the podcast yet? Ah, this is
Yeah, I don't
gonna
know.
go in there. I need to remember to edit this
All right,
part
I got it.
in.